Hello and welcome to your astrological forecast for May 2026. Welcome to my channel. If you like the video you're about to watch, then please press the like button. And if you want to become a subscriber, do, because it all spreads the word of astrology to the masses. No mean feat. In this video, I'm going to look at an overview of what planet zodiac signs are going to be affected by what's happening from an astrological perspective in May 2026. I will also look at the 12 sun signs, stroke your rising signs for the month of May, and what to look out for and what to avoid. So let's get started by the overview of what we can expect in May. Well, you know, let's start with a bit of a bang. And the bang is that on the 1st of May, what we traditionally celebrate as Beltane is a full moon at Scorpio at 11 degrees, around about 18, 23, 24 UK time. This full moon is a little bit tricky. Why is it a little bit tricky? Well, it's a little bit tricky because the moon is in fall in Scorpio. It does not bode well. It cannot operate. It can be like, you know, trying to find a truth in a matter when it's not really there. It's difficult. It's a difficult energy. It brings up emotions. And certainly if you're born in the middle of either Taurus, Leo, Scorpio or Aquarius, that's around about, you know, the 3rd, 4th and 5th and 6th of the months of February, May, August and November, then you are going to find this a little bit tricky, a little bit of a spinny energy that you are going to have to ground and work with. It's difficult. It does not bode well as you would like. It doesn't really hit too many other planets. It does make a bit of a wide square to Pluto in Aquarius, which is emphasizes that scorpionic kind of energy of the sting in the tail and things come up to the surface that you perhaps don't want to come up to the surface or don't want to deal with, but you're forced to, you have to, and therefore it's more a tricky kind of energy. But certainly this is going to be a little bit of a tough one to start us off. And you know, and then on the 3rd, Mercury, the planet of communication, goes into stodgy Taurus. Mercury is like Puck from Midsummer Night's Dream. It likes to dance about. It's buying and selling. It's commerce. And Taurus is stodgy and quite heavy. It can't operate. And, you know, it's going to be forming a square aspect with Pluto. And then Pluto goes retrograde on the 6th. By the way, on the 5th of May, that is the traditional celebration of Beltane when the sun is at 15 degrees. So if you're a bit of a Beltane purist, then celebrate Beltane on the 5th of May when the sun is at 15 degrees in Taurus. And then on the 6th, as I said earlier, Pluto goes retrograde, quite heavy because it's squaring Mercury. We've got things coming up in society that need to be dealt with but not being dealt with. It's very, very heavy. Not too sure that people are going to handle that too well. But if you can kind of remain a bit dispassionate, objective, stand back and not allow yourself to get affected by all the craziness that's going on, then certainly I think that's going to be a big help for you. As we go forward in the month, the next big one is the 16th of May, a new moon, 25 degrees in Taurus. That is actually making a conjunction with the fixed star of Algol, Medusa's head, losing one's head. Bit troublesome. Political figures or people in the cultural perhaps difficulties, or certainly people saying the wrong things and not really thinking things through, could be one of the main kind of things that comes across with this particular new moon. I know new moons are like positive starts and everything else, and the moon is exalted in Taurus, so it should be, but it's just that conjunction of alcohol which is going to cause a little bit of friction, a little bit of problems here as well for us all. On the 17th, Mercury enters into Gemini. Very, very happy to do that. That's in its rulership. But then Mars enters into Taurus. We come back to that Taurian of where Mercury is. Now we got Mars joining. Mars does not work well in Taurus. It's heavy, it's slow, it's volcanic. It finds it difficult to cope with the two energies that just do not mesh well. So this could be quite difficult for us all in terms of the political arena, what's happening on the outside world. And but if you're a Taurus, then you might feel, or a Scorpio, you might feel a boost of energy just come in, or a need to sort of really kind of stake your claim and fight for whatever you feel is true to yourself. On the 19th, Venus will enter into Cancer. That's quite nice. Venus and Cancer get along well. And then the Sun enters into Gemini. And that kind of takes us to the last big key date, which is going to be on the 31st with a full moon at 9 degrees in Sagittarius. A mutable full moon, very changeable full moon, very visionary, stuff to do with overseas travel, or foreign policies particularly becoming quite strong at that time. All the planets are moving forward, apart from Pluto, which goes retrograde on the 6th. So when planets are moving forward, it does mean it's quite a busy month ahead. But the problem is not all the planets are behaving themselves. Mercury's not really behaving itself. Mars is not behaving itself. Saturn is still moving forward in Aries, as well as Jupiter in Cancer, coming towards the end of its particular cycle. The big news, of course, is that Uranus is now firmly ingressing into Gemini. So we will start to see that operate, and we will start to see a trine forming between Uranus and Pluto is going retrograde. So that trine is going to get, actually, as the month progresses, is going to get tighter and tighter. So there is a kind of a nice talk between Uranus and Pluto in 2 air signs, which is about communication, commerce, technology. So there is some nice stuff that's being kind of put out there, and Uranus will start, you'll start to see that Uranus themes really start to play out for a lot of us. And that could be very, very strong kind of going forward. I like this. It's good. It's really nice. Maybe not full because of the Mercury and the Mars being in Taurus, which slows it down, but you start to actually kind of see that. I think May, for me, is going to be like one of these months where it's like picking up the pieces of the last 2-3 months and going, okay, how does this all work? How do we get this working in the right way? And I think once we actually begin to do that, then it's going to work in our favor for us all. Because the planets are moving forward, there's a lot of energy looking forward into what's happening. And because we're out of that Uranus in the end of Taurus that we had in April, I'm recording this on the 19th of April. I would expect that a lot of the political and chaos that we've seen recently will sort of subside if we put into something much more concrete, because the Sun is in Taurus and you know, Uranus is out of that really difficult 29 degrees of Taurus, which, you know, to get a little bit political here, you know, Donald Trump has got Leo ascendant at 29 degrees in Taurus, and Iran's chart, one of the charts, but the one I use, is also at 29 degrees in Leo. So the Uranus that's at 29 degrees in Taurus has been squaring Trump's ascendant in Leo and Iran's ascendant in Leo as well. And you know, so there's a synergy between those two, which we've kind of seen. So I'd expect that things may become a little bit easier in regards to that matter, because Uranus, when it goes into, on the 26th of April, when it goes into Gemini, it's not squaring that 29 degrees in Leo point. So I just thought I'd just sort of say that here. So I think it's a little bit of picking up the pieces of what sort of recently happened and seeing what works and what doesn't. And, you know, it's a bit of a road of diplomacy and seeing other people's points of view as well and steadying things out. That's what Taurus does. Okay, let's go into the 12 signs of Zodiac. So this is for your sun sign, but also if you know your rising sign, then you can listen to that. So we start off with Aries Sun, Aries Rising. Okay, look, the first part of the month, your ruler, Aries, Mars, is traveling through your own sign until around about the 19th, when it switches into a Taurus and switches into your second solar house, which is the house of financial affairs, self-value, working hard. You know, so you've got to look at the last sort of 5 weeks and go, okay, you've been putting plans in place, getting things moving, and all of a sudden, bang, you're going to be kind of focusing on what money you can make. And the thing about Mars is it likes something tangible to work towards. It has to have something to work towards. The problem is because it's in Taurus, your ruler, that slows things down. So things are not as quick as you would like them to be making money. So this is all about planning. Absolutely crucial. All about planning for you. That's gonna take place, and on the 16th, the new moon falls into your second house, so that would emphasize a new kind of start for you. And then on the 19th, of course, Mars enters into your second house. So there's a lot of focus on that kind of last week and a half coming in of excuse me coming in of money, projects, putting things in place, being very much aware of this is my value, this is what I'm going to put out, and that being really kind of significant. So that's the first thing I want to say about Aries. Okay, Taurus, Sun, Taurus rising. Okay, Venus, up until around about the 19th, 18th, 19th, is in your second house. It's in Gemini. And it's going to be joined by Uranus. Now, the Uranus factor is big because a lot of Taurians are going to be kind of like, oh, right, life's so much simpler. I don't have this chaos around. I'm just going to focus on making money. Venus in your solar second house. And that's what Taurians like. Building, making money. They're quite happy to do that. That is what you're going to be focusing on. But the thing is like, because you've been at such a high frequency for the last 7 years of panic and fear and, oh my God, everything could change at any moment. That's what you're used to. So at the moment, it's like coming back to an equilibrium and going, okay, what's it like to be normal? What's it like to not be panicking all of a sudden or feel like I've got to make decisions straight away? Taurians are going to take a little time here, and May is the perfect time to do that because the sun is traveling in your own zodiac sign, so you can actually begin to feel the, a little bit more grounded, a little bit more positive, a little bit more, okay, I can plan, I can make things happen. This is what really kind of comes out with this particular month of May. Mars on the 19th joins your own zodiac sign. It goes into Taurus, giving you a little bit of a boost, although it's a stodgy boost. It's a boost that says, right, I'm ready to do stuff, but I've got to have a nap first. It's that kind of energy here. You've also Mercury between the 3rd and the 16th is in your own zodiac sign again, slows things down. It's a funny month for Taurians. It's this kind of relief, but things have to slow down. I wouldn't have been expected to do an awful lot or achieve an awful lot. You have got a full moon to contend with in your opposite sign on the 1st. And then you've got on the new moon on the 16th, but that's hitting Algol, the fixed star. So that's a little bit of a tricky energy as well. So the full moons and the new moons in your sign and the opposite sign are not really doing you any huge favours this month. I would say take time out. If you can get a holiday in, get a holiday in. Don't make any big decisions. You don't need to. You don't need to panic. You don't need to be frightened. It's okay. Okay, Gemini Sun, Gemini Rising. Okay, first of all, Venus is in your own sign till about the 18th, 19th. Great. Social activities, relating to other people, enjoying each other's company. Fantastic. Great. We'll have a bit of that. You've also got Mercury joining the party on the 17th in your own sign. So that's where things really begin to get nice and busy. But what are you dealing with, Geminis? I'm going to say to you, you're dealing with Uranus in your own zodiac sign. It is there. It is firmly there. And this is going to be for a 6.5 year period where you've got Uranus. I like this combination. I like the Uranus and Gemini. I think that, Uranus can actually do things in Gemini. It's an air sign. It breathes. It's got that duality to it. It doesn't mind a bit of rebellion. It doesn't mind a little bit of let's change the rhetoric. Let's change our opinion. But Geminis, particularly early Geminis, those born on the 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd May, suddenly life's about to get really interesting. It's going to be like, whoa, what I thought I wanted, I don't want. I want this, I want that. I want to change the way that I experience life. I want to change the way that I appear to others. I want to change the way that I think. it's gonna be an energy that's like sticking your finger into an electric socket. It's gonna feel like that. You're just like full of these ideas and buzzing around, and it's gonna make you feel very different to how you felt before in life, and that is gonna have a big effect on you. And this is for most Geminis, they're getting used to this planetary energy suddenly coming in and going, bang, here we go. So, you know, for a lot of Geminis, they're going to feel a little bit sort of like, oh, things have changed. I feel a bit different, like the internal. They're going to feel like suddenly they're inspired more. They want to do things on a more spontaneous level here and get moving. And this is the month where you start to feel it. This is the month when you kind of go, yeah, I feel that particular energy. Really, really busy old time. Okay, Cancer sun sign, Cancer rising. Okay, Jupiter is traveling in your own sign. It starts off at 18 degrees. At the end of the month, it's at 23 degrees. You've got Mars in your 10th house for the first half, and also you've got Mercury there early on as well, and you've got Saturn. So in the 10th house, there's a lot on the career aspects that's going on, has been for some time for a lot of Cancerians, but I think there's more this month in May going than ever before, where you're going to feel like I'm just doing loads and loads and loads and loads and loads. And I think that is something that you are sort of trying to get used to. And it's about responsibility. It's about having duty and taking things on and being really kind of attentive to your own inner motivations and what you want out of life. But this is really like really kind of strong. And I feel like for a lot of you, you're going to feel that there's opportunities coming your way, and good opportunities, and it's like how to ground them, how to work with them, and where it's going to take you in the long run for your career. This is a very much a career month, and things dealing with authority figures, dealing with how to take advantage of your next ambitions, your next career, your next level is you know, there will be meetings, there will be discussions that be made with you in regards to that area. And I think that you'll appreciate that an awful lot and get a lot from that will work really well. On the 18th, Venus is in your own sign, traveling, and that's going to be really kind of nice, because it as the month goes on, it basically gets closer and closer to Jupiter. It doesn't make a conjunction until the following month, but it certainly it's kind of a nice in getting your own way, in being diplomatic. And I said there's a lot of meetings, a lot of discussions about your work and your career, and so I sort of feel like that this is going to be quite a significant combination of Venus and Jupiter in your own sign, because it will help you for others to see your point of view and get your views across in a diplomatic and sensible way. Okay, Leo sun, Leo rising. What can I say? Really, the first thing I want to say is on the 6th, the Pluto starts to go retrograde in your own in your opposite sign of Aquarius. Listen, that's going to be retrograde till the middle of October, but it just takes the heat off a little bit. I think a lot of Leos have felt like people have been trying to battle them a bit too much, trying to get one over on them, trying to get them to enter into power battles they don't really want to get into. There's a lot of projection being going on. That will start to ease quite a bit, actually. That will get a lot better and feel like, okay, that doesn't happen. The main thing, of course, is Uranus now moving into Gemini means that that's freed up your 10th house, which is your career house, which essentially means that that's not going to be as chaotic. So you might find that May actually brings about some new insights into your working position that you never would have thought of, or you thought, oh, that never happened, or that's never. Suddenly there's a steadiness there. Someone moves away out of your job, or a new opportunity comes in that's much more steadier, or you feel just like less anxious about stuff than you have done. All of these things are really, really going to be kind of deeply significant going forward, and I just feel like this is a major turning point for you, for a lot of these Leos that are going to be taking place. Saturn is kind of helping you guys as well. It's steadying the ship. It's giving given you structure and discipline that you kind of need. But for me, the Pluto factor is big. It just takes the heat off. It just means you're not overpowered so much and you don't feel like things are out of your control or other people are out of control. That's what's actually coming about for a lot of Leos. For them, those people are sort of back in their shadows again. Okay, Virgo, Sun, Virgo rising. Look, your planetary ruler Mercury is going to be traveling from the 17th into Gemini, and that is in your 10th house, solar house, and that's the house of career and ambition and work. And there's quite a decisive energy for you, situated in an immutable sign, that's going to come about at that particular period, which is going to give you a kind of a sense of, do you know what, actually I'm making choices about my career, but I'm keeping it dualistic. That's the classic of 2 jobs and stuff like that. But you are selling yourself, essentially. You are putting yourself out there and going, oh, I'd like to do this, I'd like to do that. There is this kind of change that's kind of happening, which is quite nice, and sort of works quite well. And, networking and connections with others, because of the Jupiter factor in your solo 11th house, is also really doing well. So you're connecting with others, and that's starting to pay off. You're starting to see people connect with you. You're starting to see people want to do projects with you and connect for the future. Take these opportunities, really do. Take them on board. They're really kind of important. But hey, for all of that, let's talk about Uranus, because Uranus is in your 10th house, will be for 6.5 years. So from now till zoom ahead 6.5 years, your career is going to change dramatically, absolutely dramatically. And it's going to take you into just different areas that you never thought. So what's happening now? It's what I call the awakening moment. It's awakening new values or new aspirations or new things that you want to do. You do the complete opposite of what you've done over the last 6.5, 7 years. That's what you're going to do. It's not going to happen straight away in the month of May, but it's the seeds are going to be planted and things are going to start to happen. So now you're dealing with Uranus energy. You won't want to listen to other people. You won't want to listen to a boss that's incompetent. You are more likely to go much more independent than you've ever done before, because Uranus wants to liberate you from the structures of your own bearing. It wants to get you away from things that apply, or you got to do this, you got to do that, and you have to. Uranus doesn't want to do that. It just wants to kind of go, do you know what, actually I want to do any of that. What I want to do now is I want to work for myself. I want to be independent, and I want freedom as much as possible, because that's what Uranus demands. And so at the moment, you're just getting used to that energy. You're going to feel differently, and that's going to really bring out a different ideas that's going to come out. So for Virgos, this is big shift that's happening, massive shift. Okay, let's go into Sun Libras or Libra rising. It's interesting, I think, for Librans doing this thing. One of the signs that I would say is relatively quiet. Yes, okay, they got Saturn, opposing, and Neptune opposing the zodiac sign. And certainly if you're an early degrees Libran, you're going to kind of feel this a little bit, like you've got to make decisions, you've got to put things forward, you've got to plan stuff a bit better than you have done. And the Neptune factor is like, maybe I'm more into the creative endeavors that I want to kind of bring forward. That's particularly quite strong. I just sort of feel like this is a major month of maturity and grounding and looking at the long term, not the shortcuts, not any of that, and just being kind of aware that there's a sort of a deeper resonance that's kind of coming in for you, because that's the Saturn factor that's happening as well. Jupiter is also, squaring your own zodiac sign, so there are things happening around you, but they're not necessarily concrete at the moment. They're a little bit flimsy. And so you're very kind of aware of that. And I think that is also having quite an effect on you as an individual and as a person. But I like this. I like the energy of this. However, let's talk about Mars, shall we? Because Mars is, till the 19th, is in your own zodiac sign. Not your own zodiac sign, your opposite zodiac sign in Aries. That's 7th house. That's relationships, others. Has been in the period of April. Just be careful what you say. You don't need to say certain things. You could just leave it. You don't have to put up a fight. It doesn't help. And it's not particularly what you want to do, Librans. You know, that Mars energy, sometimes you can project onto others. Sometimes people can project onto you. But it's just Mars. Don't take it personally. Listen to me. Okay, Scorpio Sun, Scorpio Rising. Right, full moon, straight away, 11 degrees, Scorpio, May the 1st, to contend with. A little bit tricky. You've also got on the 16th a new moon in your opposite sign of Taurus, hitting our goal, fixed star. A little bit tricky. We now know we're in tricky period. We've also got Mars the second half of the month, around about the 19th, in your opposite sign. Again, tricky. Oh, it's one of those that is very much about relationships for Scorpio and how you deal with other people and how people deal with you. I'd love to sit here and go, this is going to be your best month, but it's not. It's going to be a little bit of a month where you kind of got to be very careful about what you say and when you say it and how you say it. And if you do that, then fabulous, it'll be great. But if you try and push the agenda or you try and force things to happen, then it's really not going to work for you. It's going to come off very badly and wrong and not in a good condition at all. So just be very, very aware of that. My sense around this for Scorpios is this is a very transformative month. They'll like that. But it's also a month where you've got to let go of other people's opinions and not try and force your own opinions on other people or have to tell the truth when the truth doesn't need to necessarily be told at that particular time or that particular social occasion. Do you get me? It's one of those where you have to be very careful. So just be aware of that because it will help you get through the month. The end of the month, the whole point of it is to help you understand that not everyone is like you. Okay, Sagittarius Sun, Sagittarius Rising. Right at the end of the month, on the 31st, I'd say this before I forget, full moon, 9 degrees, Sagittarius. So we're leading up to that particular point here. And that's what you might feel for a lot of Sagittarians. You're coming up to that point where you're going, well, hang on, there's something building up here, building up. Your ruler Jupiter is still rocketing through Cancer, doing really well here. The thing about that it being in Cancer is that it's in aversion to your own zodiac sign. So it's not really, you're not that much affected by Jupiter in Cancer. On the 30th of June, when it goes into Leo, it goes into another fire sign. That's when things get really interesting for you. You can actually work with that Jupiter. So it's a little bit quiet. It's one of the quieter signs for you, particularly for most of you at the moment. And, you know, Saturn's nicely speaking to you, you know, giving you a bit of support, giving you a bit of foresight, giving you the ability to look at things a bit easier. So that's kind of, that's nice. We like that. You know, we like the fact that Neptune is also kind of speaking to you in a nice way. So this is a kind of interesting, quieter month than they probably like, Saggies. They do like busy months. But it's in preparation. At the end of the month, that's when it gets a little bit on the tricky side, a bit over-emotional, or dealing with other people's emotions right at the end of the month. Okay, Capricorn Sun, Capricorn Rising. Home life. Sorting that out. You know, we've got Saturn, Neptune, and we've also got Mars at the beginning of the month as well in that 4th house. So you really are dealing with a lot to do with the home environment, reconstructing, clearing things out, getting things sorted out. It's a very, very busy time for you at that particular period. And you've also got to contend with a lot going on in your 7th house, which is relationships. So the 4th and the 7th are very much connected here, of relationships with other people and sorting those out, as well as yourself and how you look after yourself. Really, really important here, particularly because now that Uranus has just gone into your 6th house, solar house. So it's all about health matters and how you look after yourself, maybe different alternative ways or approaching your health in a very different way to how you've done it before. It's going to be kind of important. But, you know, as long as you sort out the responsibilities in your home life and make it much more manageable, it's going to be a lot easier for you. And then you can concentrate in your career, which you absolutely love anyway. So it's just one of those that I feel. Okay, Aquarius Sun, Aquarius Rising. Right, Uranus is out your 4th house, happy, go lucky. Right, it's gone into your 5th house, the house of creativity. You can express yourself, you can be who you want to be, and no one's going to bat an eyelid. Not that Aquarians really care about what other people think, but I think that the last 7 years they've had to, because they've had to be responsible to some way. Pluto is also going retrograde on the 6th in your own sign, the early degrees. That might take a little bit of the heat off you, or a feeling that internal transformation that keeps churning away inside you at the moment before it externalizes itself, depending on where your sun is or where your ascendant degree is when that happens. It could be an early, middle, 20-year period. Pluto is going to be in Aquarius. So, but it is churning away, and it's kind of like you feel it. You're kind of slowly letting go of power, but bringing power in. It's a contradiction. Oh, Aquarians love that. They'll love that. But there is this kind of sense of, with the Uranus moving on, you moving into the 5th house and into a Gemini, it's less intense for you. It feels like you've got a bit more control, or you can be freed up to express yourself the way you want to. And that means that there's easy communication and easier ideas coming across. And I think that's great. And the sun's in your 4th house, so that's the house, the home, so you can enjoy yourself and really kind of start to feel a little bit more normal. If Aquarians do feel normal ever, I don't think they do. But let's just say for the month of May, they do. Okay, Pisces sun, Pisces rising. Jupiter's being really nice. That's your traditional ruler. It's in a fellow water sign like yourself. One of the things that's interesting is definitely the Neptune factor, your modern ruler, going into your solar 2nd house, and how you earn money, and the different ideas that you have about earning money and how that can be achieved over a period of time. The more esoteric, the more spiritual aspects you're looking at as your value system to yourself. Now, you could say, well, Pisces always think like that, and yes, I'd be right. Not all Pisces, but a majority of Pisces look like that, and that's absolutely fine. But I feel like there's going to be a period now where you're kind of making some decisions regarding how you earn your money, and knowing intuitively what's going to work for you and what's not going to work for you. And that's quite good, because I think that there's been a little bit of like compromise over the last 2.5 years, and having to do things because you've had to do stuff, and not necessarily taking into consideration your own needs for it, just kind of going, well, this is what I got to do. So I think there's a difference there that's sort of taking place, and I like that. I think that that's kind of nice, and I feel like the planets for you are, there's a big focus on money and decisions for this month. You got Mars in there, you got Saturn, you got Neptune, you got a bit of Mercury as well. There's a lot, and I feel like that this is like a big month, like setting things out career-wise, and having objectives, and making lists. Yes, Pisces, it's okay to make lists, and actually fulfilling them over a period of time. Listen, guys, thank you very much for watching. Look out for more videos. Do like the video. Do become a subscriber. It does all help me. And I'll catch up with you all very, very soon. Thank you for watching.